Hi coaches, one of my earlier videos I talked about how I'd put out a video explaining the ball screen offense that we ran periodically over the last, 5 to 7 years. So I'm excited to do that today. Many of you will recognize the basic format of this offense. You'll see it with a lot of high schools and colleges right now. My goal right now with the video is just to show you how I explained it, what we did off of it, some of the options, and really why it became a thing for some of my teams that was a great thing for us to run because it gave our guys a place to be, and it really stretched the defense and put the defense in some difficult situations. Depending on our personnel, we ran it a little bit differently. I'll show you some of those options. So if you're looking for something a little bit new, a little bit different, just a pattern for where your players can be, and again, often we just ran it as a set play because we didn't get it side to side, even though it's set up to go side to side. Sometimes we'd just be on one side, we get to the other side, and then we'd be done. So we just run it as a set play. I'll just explain all the options to it and how we ran it, and hopefully it's something that you can use in the future. So the key to starting it is we just need to get the ball over here to the wing. How you do that is really up to you. There just needs to be ball screen action on the wing over here. We would sometimes have our point guard dribble here and give a wave through signal to get our other guard out. Sometimes we would pick down and we would enter the ball here. However it happens, the ball needs to get to the wing here. You can, again, create however you want to do that. So then we have the ball here. Let's say the point guard dribbled through here and waved the other guard through and he left. So our two-man would leave and he would end up over here. Now we would have one of our bigs come and ball screen here and the other big pop and our other players over here. So here's the key to teaching, at least what I found was the simplest way to get my guys to understand it. We taught it at the freshman and the JV and the varsity high school level. So we ran it at all levels, and for the freshmen, the way we taught it, and I think the terminology made it pretty easy to understand there. I think you could run it at just about any level. So we talked about these two guys right here that are two bigs, and by no means do they have to be your huge guys or really tall girls on your team. Just the people that would be a little bit more playing inside. We talked about them being buddies, okay? And if one of them is ball screening, the other one needs to pop to the top of the key, and we'd probably back him up a little bit and have him in this range here. So here's the three-point line here. So the 5 and the 4 need to be buddies, and we talked about that repeatedly with these two players. Listen, we don't need to yell, set it up and back it up and enter it, and then at any point, if the ball is on the wing here, one big would go pick, and one big would pop. And then you're set, and you're ready to run the offense. Your other guards would clear out to the other side. How you get it there is really up to you. But even mid-trip, we would have our point guard sometimes put a fist up. That would be a signal. One big should come, and another big would pop, and now the offense can start. All right, so here we have a ball screen on the wing here with the 5 and the 1. We drilled this situation repeatedly as we built this offense. And we talked about all the options off of it, and we practiced all the options off of it. And we'd do it in a really fast breakdown drill. We'd go fake use, and we teach that and how we can attack here. And if you look at the setup here, the defenders get really stretched here. With this ball screen happening over here, we would have defenders on the 2 dropping to help, on the 3 dropping to help, and we've got some ball screen action. I don't know how they're guarding it here, going under, or maybe they're going over and hedging, or maybe they're switching it. And there's a whole lot of options you can use off of that. But even a fake use here, if we attack the paint here on a fake use, this stretches these helpers and you have shooters over here. This is what I really liked about the offense, is it really ended up working just like a framework, just a place for people to be initially, and it put some pressure on the defense. And if we didn't necessarily swing it, it didn't matter. It still put the defense in a tough situation sometimes. So again, I think if you're going to try to run this, I would drill this situation. Get a line of littles, a line of bigs, run this ball screen at them, and talk about all the options. We'd have them use it and go low bounce pass to a roller. We'd have them use it and hit a popper for a 3. This situation right here, I think if you're going to effectively run this offense, needs to be drilled. And then you'd even add this other big into the drill to look at a high-low look. So we've got the 1, the 5 is screening, the 4 is popping, and we've got the 3 and the 2 over here. We're looking a little bit messy here. We'll move over. So let's just say that we want to get the ball the other side and that the 1 man is going to use this screen. So he uses the screen, and let's say the 5 rolls. Depending on this personnel right here, we would have some guys that were rollers only, and we would tell them, listen, you are a roller. When you ball screen in this offense, you run to the rim. We had some guys last year for sure that we said, you're not a roller at all, you are only a popper. And it didn't change the offense at all. But when he screened here, he would sprint corner here. We got this shot a lot. with a really good high school shooter who's about 6'3", and he made a ton of these shots because as this ball screen was used, took both defenders up a little bit, or they dived looking for a roll, and he was very open here. It was a very good shooter. And if we don't throw it to him, it doesn't, again, change the offense at all. So if the 1 does use this screen, let's say, and let's say that the 5 is a roller, and then we throw to the 4 right here. Now the 4's first look is going to be looking at this 5-man here, looking at a high-low look. If they switch this screen, we demanded that we threw the ball to him because this is now our big man being guarded, one of our bigger guys being guarded by a point guard down here. So if you are playing a team that is switching, this becomes really difficult to guard because if you look at the helpers, I mean, this is an awkward help angle here. So if they're here and here, if they come any farther, we're skipped past to an open shooter in the corner. So that really put a lot of pressure on the defense. And again, if they switched it, we demanded that we would look down here, and we taught this and coached the 5-man hard on really sealing and asking for the basketball there. But let's say we don't get it. Okay, so the 5 has rolled, 4 has the basketball. Now the 4 would take one hard dribble this direction at the 3, and the 3 here would go back door and start to get out of the way. Starting to look like it's a little bit messy and there's a lot going on. There really isn't when you really break it down. There's not that much going on, and it's a pretty basic offense. 3 cuts hard back door. We did not get that a lot. I'll tell you, we did not get that pass a lot. What it does, however, is gets 3 out of the way because you can start to see the offense forming over here again. And here comes the 4 on one dribble, and he's going to throw it to the 2. So here's how it would be set up now. We'd have the 2 here. We'd have the 4. This 5 that rolled knows. He's like, wait a minute. My buddy is going over there probably to ball screen. I need to pop to the top of the key. And I would use that terminology a lot. Hey, your buddy's screening. Pop. And just demand it. That if one big's picking, the other big is popping. So we've got the 5 working his way up into this area. We've got the 1 who used the ball screen, threw the ball and stays. And now we've got the 3 who's gone back door, and he is over here. And now we've got this action over here where we throw and we ball screen. This should look familiar. Exactly as that, only on the other side. So now we go. Same options. Everything is the same. We've got a big popping. We've got a big picking. We have guards spaced out to shoot the basketball. And here's that same situation that we have drilled repeatedly. Once we got better at this, I will tell you that we started to talk to the 4 and the 2 and really to all of our guys that this does not necessarily have to be a pass and a ball screen. It can be a dribble at and a handoff or back door. So our 4-man, he took the 1 dribble to force the 3 to go back door. He would continue to dribble, and we would go handoff right here. And handoffs, I found them really difficult to guard sometimes, especially a big little handoff if these are talented players. Now let's say our 4-man, he's the guy that when he picks, he's a popper only. He's not a roller. Again, we talked about our 5, he was a roller. Depends on your personnel. They can both be poppers. They can both be rollers. But we would hand off here to the 2, or we could even fake handoff, or we could dribble at back door. There are options after options after options, and they put pressure on the defense here. So let's say we went handoff with the 2 and the 4 popped. That's great. Throw it back and look for that shot. Or if we catch here and then we attack paint. Again, there's spacing. There are things happening here that put a lot of pressure on the defense. If we just go back to a real basic pass and ball screen, if we pass the 2 and then we ball screen and we have the same exact situation. Throw to the 5, let's say he's a diver, we look high-low. Look, if he goes dribble at 1, which he needs to do, dribble, 1 goes back door, and here we go to the other side. That's a pretty quick look at it. Now that I look at it, it looks confusing. It really is not. And the more you drill it and set up some of the basics of it, the players that I did it with, well, it was about 3 years ago for sure, and then about, I want to say maybe 5 years ago, we had a couple teams that just didn't move great when I gave them a lot of freedom. This gave them a format, but then some freedom within it. So if they wanted to fake use, or if they wanted to attack the middle and kick, and we told them to not be robotic about it. If you attacked here and then you kicked there, to not wait and think, oh wait, where's my ball screen, who's popping, to play basketball. You know, and I told them all the time, this is a format for you, but you're a player, so make a play off of it. Now is a great time. You know, it's really cold. I don't know if you've noticed that, but if you're watching this in Michigan, it's going to be really cold this week. It's a great time, I think, to add in the middle of the season here just a little bit of a different look. And if you're not getting great shots, or if you feel like your players might need a place to be, because a lot of young high school players get a little bit confused sometimes with motion and some other things, and they don't know where to be. Give it a look. this week in practice. See if you can set this up, and I would definitely drill the small parts of it to make sure that you do the little things right on that ball screen and that high-low look and that backdoor look, and drill all of that. And then, I don't know, maybe see if your players react to this format and your shot, you end up getting some really good shots. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope this helps you set up your ball screen offense, and thank you so much for watching.